All right, 8-game main slate tonight, boys. The three highest priced pitchers are Yu Darvish at 10K, Clayton Kershaw at 9,500, and Lucas Giolito at 9,300. So, Steve, chase or fade for me that Giolito facing the Mariners is actually the best option tonight, even though he's the least expensive of the top three price guys.
Yeah, totally down with rolling with Lucas Giolito tonight. I mean, quite frankly, there's a lot of high upside strikeout guys on the mound tonight. Like we had an abysmal, field of pitchers we got to choose from last night. That's totally going to change here tonight. But you look at what like Seattle did against righties last year, 24 K percentage against righties. That was one of the best for opposing pitchers in the league. Even guys like Tyler Glasnow, Clayton Kershaw going on the mound tonight. There's a lot of strikeout upside to be had. Even Adbert Alzolay going against the Brewers. That's a great matchup tonight too as well. The pitching selection, there is a plethora of options that's going to get you those strikeouts, but Giolito is most definitely somebody I have my eyes on tonight.
All right, Jules, are you going to chase it?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I will chase Giolito here. The only thing that I don't necessarily like is you open up the slate and you see Darvish had a bad game in his opening start. Kershaw was awful in Colorado. Giolito was pretty good. He looks kind of like the easy choice. So, if you're playing a large field GPP, I think maybe just paying all the way up for Darvish makes sense to be different if Giolito is going to have much higher ownership. But just in terms of a, perspective of who I think will have the best game of the three, I like Giolito, and you get the 700 savings off of Darvish. I think it's a pretty good matchup against the Seattle lineup that is nothing special. You get plenty of strikeout upside, and he's not really gonna break the bank. So outside of being super contrarian, just after those bad opening day starts, Giolito is the guy for me.
Nick, 3 for 3, gonna go here and chase this guy, Giolito?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you guys on this one. I was trying to make a case for Glasnow as we were getting ready for this, and I don't like him necessarily here because he hasn't done well against the Red Sox historically. And, of course, they had a big night the other night going off, 11 runs. And Kershaw would probably be my number 2 here if we want to be a little bit different just because he was at Coors Field, opening day. I'll give him a break there. Now he's out and playing against the A's, pitchers-friendly ballpark. But still, Giolito is definitely the play here.
All right, guys. So some injuries to worry about when it comes to hitters tonight. Fernando Tatis dealing with a dislocated shoulder. Cody Bellinger has a foot injury. Jules, that potentially leaves Mookie Betts as the highest priced hitter tonight. Now, are you chasing Mookie tonight or fading him because of ownership here?
1 second.
Oh.
Just take a sip of Steve Buchanan's tears there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, delicious.
Look, Mookie's in a good spot. He's never in a bad spot, put it that way. So if the other high-priced guys are dinged up, not going to be around on this slate, like he's a guy that you can trust. He's a cash play. He has reverse splits, so he's always going to hit righties well. He can get you points, whether it's a home run or you get walked and he steals second. Like he's versatile. He's a cash play. I don't necessarily want to pay $6K for him. I would rather get Giolito. There's not great value pitching, so I'll probably wind up paying up for a second pitcher. And that just leaves me without the room to pay $6K for a hitter, even though I think Mookie's in a fine spot. So I'll look down. Like I think that there are, studs on this slate in the 5,000 range, low 5,000, high 4,000s that you can get that aren't necessarily going to be as safe of a floor as Mookie, but bring similar upside. So I probably am not looking at the priced up bats here.
Nick, are you looking at the top price bats here? You want to chase Mookie?
I'm going to fade Mookie here, but I still like the Dodgers lineup right now. I'm looking at Justin Turner in particular. I think Seager is a good option too, but with Tatis dealing with the shoulder injury, I think that Justin Turner is the best option too of these guys. Also, you got to factor in Manny Machado is going to be a more popular piece too over at third base with Tatis dealing with the injury, and then the same goes for, well, not the same, but Chris Bryant, of course, is a popular option at third too. So Turner isn't going to be too big a deal, but with Betts, I mean, yeah, he's always a good option, but he's still too popular for me, and I think Turner is a safer pick.
Steve, you want to eat that Mookie chalk?
Well, first of all, we don't need to keep talking about Tatis. We all know he's hurt. Okay, Nick's bringing out answers there. He's got the gears turning above his head with the, Justin Turner pick, whatever. You want to say that? Fine. We don't need to talk about Tatis anymore. And hello to Thor. Nice to see him. Nice to hear him back there.
Yeah, he's very loud. I'm so sorry.
We love him. You know what? We love him. But we don't have to talk about Tatis. That's like watching your dad get beat up, watching him get hurt. Nobody wants to see it. The matchup for Mookie Betts tonight is tough. He's going up against Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett has been really tough against righties. Since 2019, 295 WOBA, 4.15 FIP, 22.2 K percentage. Doesn't give up a ton of home runs either. 1.1 home run over 9 innings. So with all the good pitchers that are taking the mound tonight, there's no need that you have to go up to 6K and get Mookie Betts. There's a lot better value on the board here tonight. We'll talk about some of those value plays here in a moment, but I don't feel the need to go up to Mookie Betts. Hasn't driven in any runs yet, hasn't hit a home run. They're coming. Don't worry about that. But at 6K, there's a lot better options on the board at a lower value that I think than Mookie Betts tonight.
Thor approves. That's why he was barking. Okay.
Let's go.
Oh my, no. He is 92 pounds, guys. He got weighed yesterday. Okay. We're talking about a lot of expensive guys, but who are you chasing for some value tonight, Nick?
Well, I'm looking at two right now, Jeff McNeil and Manny Margot. And at first, I really like Jeff McNeil because, of course, he had a tough spring. This guy's still a stud, though. I'm not worried about him. He's going to get hits. That offense is going to produce plenty. And I'm going to be talking about them a little more later on. But Chase Anderson facing him tonight, I mean, that guy's he's not a threat at all. But Manny Margot, I love this right now. I need a piece of the Rays lineup tonight going up against the Red Sox against Martin Perez, a guy who I trust less than Julian and Steve out on the mound. So I got to take someone here. I'm going with Manny Margot.
All right, Steve, where are you going?
Get some really cheap exposure to Coors Field. David Peralta's at 3,700 tonight. You look at his numbers from last year, didn't exactly jump out at you, but he's consistently been a good source of power against right-handed pitching. You go back to 2019, 208 isolated power, 352 WOBA, and a 116 WRC+. Those are some stellar numbers for a guy against righties. Now he's in Coors Field. He's under 4K. And you have German Marquez, who has consistently struggled against lefties all throughout his career, especially at Coors Field. What don't you struggle against at Coors Field? But David Peralta, down year last year. I'll take the savings to take him at 3,700.
All right, Jules, we're talking value. Where are you going?
Steve's got the right idea, the wrong team. Like, how often do we see bats priced this cheap at Coors? And if you want to have some Diamondbacks in there, that's fine. But we have projected in the Rockies lineup 6 bats for 3,700 or less. Like, when does that happen? And we're going up against,
stink because they stink.
They've managed to score some runs on the Dodgers. They did well against Kershaw on opening day.
Everybody scored runs. It's Major League Baseball. You're supposed to score runs. Doesn't matter. They stink.
You are just kidding.
Well, you're making the argument. So they are supposed to score runs because they're a major league team. So yeah, if they're going to score runs, they're going to do it against Luke Weaver, who stinks. This guy was a first 5 inning fade for me every time he pitched last season. He pitched in 12 games. He somehow was bad enough to get 10 decisions. He was 1-9 because he got his team in a hole every single time. The last game that he pitched happened to be a 10-3 loss to the Colorado Rockies. He gives up runs every game extremely consistently, and we can get however many you want, 2, 3, 4, 5 cheap Rockies bats in there. Go do that.
All right, guys, let's go to the sports book now, shall we? Yes, we shall. As usual, the highest game total comes from, can anyone guess? Coors Field Classic, where the Diamondbacks visit the Rockies. All right, game total set at 10.5. Steve, you just said you're supposed to score runs. It's Major League Baseball. So are you chasing or fading the over tonight? Got to chase it, right?
I mean, look, neither team is hitting the ball particularly well. And I think that's reflected in the total at 10.5 because, you want to say 10.5 is kind of a low total for Coors Field, but it really is. So I would hate to take the under on a Coors Field game like this, especially when it's at 10.5 because it feels pretty low. But even if it does hit the over, I think they're barely just going to squeak by this. Maybe they get 11 runs. Maybe it's at 12. But, both teams, especially the Rockies, they have a really, really poor bullpen. So the Diamondbacks are in a great position to just kind of go off here, aside from the fact that they haven't been hitting well so far to start this season. But, man, this is a really bad Rockies lineup too as well. So really kind of on the fence here. But if I had to take a side, probably going to go with the over, but I think it's going to be really close.
Jules, you like the over here?
I don't think that I would touch the full game total. I think it's pretty spot on. If I played any overs in this game, there's one of 2 ways I would attack it. The first would be the first 5 inning over of 5.5 runs. I just talked about Weaver, who's god-awful. Marquez, not very good either. Even though these offenses aren't that great, I think we would see the runs early in this game. So I would look at that first 5-1, or if you just go into the game props, what is the team total for Colorado sitting at 5.5 plus money on the 5.5. I think that's a decent play too. If I was picking between the two, I would go with the first 5 over.
Nick, 10.5. You're going to chase or fade the over?
I'm going to chase because Luke Weaver stinks, as Julian put so eloquently earlier. And also, German Marquez, I mean, this guy, I know he put up a goose egg last time out, but he walked 6 batters. I'm not, any guy that's messing around like that, he's bound to give up a ton of runs, especially after a strong outing. So I'm hitting the over on this, no questions asked.
All right, Jules, if you're looking at the full slate of MLB games today, is there a team that you would chase at plus money as the underdog tonight?
I don't see any underdogs that jump out to me, but why put it this way? We don't have to be patient. I'm not going to wait to bet baseball games tonight. I'm going to bet baseball this afternoon. 1 p.m. Give me the Minnesota Twins team total over 4.5. They're going up against a highly touted prospect in Casey Mize, who was a disaster last year. He had an ERA of 7. He faced the Twins 3 times. He gave up, 9. He gave up 11 runs in 9 innings and change. The Twins are averaging 7.5 runs per game in the early going this season. They put up 15 in Detroit yesterday. I will just bet on some afternoon baseball.
Nick, any team you like at plus money?
Yeah, the Mets. I don't know how you're not going with this one, Julian. It seems like a no-brainer to me. I know Marcus Stroman didn't pitch last year, but Chase Anderson going up against him, I like the Mets lineup. I think this is a no-brainer for me. So, yeah, at plus 116 last I checked on DK Sportsbook? Easy one there.
Steve, what about you?
Yeah, Julian, you coward. Why'd you take a game we're supposed to be choosing from? I'll take the Rangers at plus 112 going against the Blue Jays. Tanner Roark is taking the mound for the Blue Jays. I went on YouTube, look up his 2020 season highlights. It played an ad and the video was over. There was nothing that was a highlight for him last year. So now you have a Rangers team that could easily shell him. This is someone who gave up 14 home runs and 47 2/3 inning last season, an average of 2.6 through 9 innings. Give me the Rangers at plus money.